Hey, I want to say thank you for joining us for a few minutes and just want to talk to you about how to lead a discussion over this week's sermon. First of all, I love preaching the story of Joseph. What an incredible story it is. And so I would encourage you to go back and read it, first of all, starting in Genesis chapter 37, and it goes on to about chapter 50 is where it finally concludes. But it is such a powerful, powerful story of the reality that God is at work in our lives, even when we can't see him. And obviously, that line that Joseph has in chapter 50, when he says, "What you meant for evil, God meant for good." And so I think there's a great opportunity for you to have some really good discussion in your CGs about this. I think it's easy to start with, has there been times in your life when it wasn't easy to see that God was with you? When it was easy to doubt? Maybe you could identify a few times, everybody around your group could identify a time or two where it just didn't appear that God was with them. And then kind of the follow-up is, have you been able to see on the back side of that how God was actually at work in that moment? And then the second thing that I would say that would be a great thing to discuss would be, what would you do differently? What would you do differently? How would you live differently if you were fully convinced that God was with you? What would change in your life? What would you do different? How would you work differently? How would you parent differently? How would you be married differently? How would you date differently if you were fully convinced that God was with you at all times? So I think if you kind of unpack those things, it would really be a good discussion time. Hope you have some great discussion around this topic, and God bless you.